So, gentlemen, welcome yet again. I'm in the process of some projects which are being delayed quite substantially with each day, but I had a scrapyard run and I wanted to show off a few acquisitions. I had a few scrapyard runs in the meanwhile as well, one of which resulted in a acquisition which I have been attending to and which I wanted to show you and which I made essentially a whole video on, and then I scrapped the intro for that video, so I guess this will be a bit longer video which will act as an intro to that video as well. So with that said, I'll show you some of the additional mess that I have acquired and go through some of the ideas for the acquired pieces. To start with, I snagged this large glass plate because it's properly wrapped in the protective foil, as you can see, and is totally perfect, so why not? It's a nice piece for certain uses. I snagged this quite old, from what I see, truck hydraulic pump, or rather hydraulic jack. It's a bit fucked at the moment, so it will need some proper restoration. The mechanism shifts and everything, but it needs to be taken apart. The outside, as you can see, and here, is aluminum casting, which is a relatively nice thing because it's much lighter than a full cast iron one would have been. It has a vented oil inlet and quite a cute oil release and evacuation port slash valve. It has a nice ram, as you can see. This is a 90mm stock piece behind. This is what, 60, something like that, millimeters, so 6 centimeters, or divided by 2.54 if you want it in inches. But yeah, it's a nice piece. I snagged it just for kicks. It has a nice how do you call it, lever attachment. But at any rate, that's one of the projects, just because I don't have enough of them already. Speaking of projects, I have this large hydraulic vise flipped upside down that has yet to be restored, and so on. This vise over there as well. These pieces, that traveling rest for the, well, it's a toss lathe, but I picked it up as I intend to use it on my sharer lathe. However, I have to fix it, as you can see before that. It's not broken, but it appears to have some issues, like that stuck piston, or however you want to call it, that I was and am as of yet unable to drive out. I have got no idea why. It has no burrs on the other end, which I forced inward, but yeah, I'll see about it. I also picked up this small, as you can see over there, Pantograph machine, or Pantograph piece, a head which belonged to an engraving machine, quite a large one at that, but yeah, that was the piece that this video is an intro for. I'm currently not working on it because I'm currently working on a wrench for taking it apart, but that will be a separate video, a standalone installment that I have not yet posted because I have not yet posted the video introducing that head, or rather that part. Some of the cutters that I have acquired as well from the scrapyard. I have some more over there in that tray, as you can see. But and this is a piece that I acquired. Well, these are the two pieces that I acquired. The top one being the hydraulic filter assembly, which I intend on repurposing for, let's say, my hydraulic surface grinder with a hydraulic movement. And this large casting, which appears to be a part of a larger machine assembly, I've got no idea precisely what it was a part of, but at any rate I intend on using it as a metrology piece. Give me a second. I don't want to tinker with oil filters, so I will not be moving it, but as you can see, well, as you can see, this piece over here is what I assume a nickel weld as a reparation method for a damaged hole, or a brazing of some sorts. Though that notwithstanding, I will most likely mill that section off entirely, or maybe I won't, I'll see. I will restore the precision of these surfaces. I will plop in a pneumatic piston in there rather than a hydraulic one, pieces of which you can still see in there. I'm sorry, you cannot really see shit, but you can see that there was some hydraulics in there. The filter did not come with that piece. Those were just coincidentally found at the same time on the scrapyard. You can see the color difference at any rate, or the paint. But as this section, as you can see, has a system designed for mounting of oh, for fuck's sakes, how do you call them? Those double V rails that rely on roller bearings that are in a crossed configuration, used by some grinding machines. But yeah, as this piece relies on that, I'll be able to utilize it. I'll have to make a top surface. I'll be able to touch it up, make sure that it is square and parallel to, well, all the surfaces to each other, or rather in reference to each other. And that will land me with a decent metrology table of sorts, as I'll be able to mount, let's say, from this side. As you can see, it was definitely a part of some machine, but I'll be able to mount a stand of sorts over here and have a indicator or whatever reading instrument which will allow me to measure the condition of the thing put on the table when you want to, for example, check the condition of the same reason people have surface plates, but for slightly different pieces, things that you necessarily do not want to slide on the surface plate or whatever. There are reasons to have such a mechanism. It will also allow me to have two centers mounted and to use it as a shaft indicating jig, or rather metrology jig for shafting to see if the axle is bent or whatever, or spindle, as axles and spindles are the most popular of all the machinist shafting, along with lead screws and threaded rods of other sorts. That being said, however, the piece, how would you call it, the stock stand is progressing quite slowly, as the weather has been horrific these last few weeks since I started that project. I added this top piece, which has yet to be welded in fully, as you can see, and has yet to receive a counterpart over here, the same way these frames have been assembled inside. But I'm not putting in a frame as a solid piece over here, because this leg was bent to a certain degree and in a certain way, and this leg is bent in a different way and to a different degree, so I have to bend those back appropriately and see to them individually, as I have done with this leg. Give me a second. As you can see, it reads quite nicely. Son of a fucking bitch. Well, so much about it. I'm too lazy to bend my back and go grab it. But yeah, at any rate, this is the introduction. I guess I'll proceed traveling back in time some few weeks and returning to that engraving head of sorts. This was just a head of the Pantograph. I've got no idea why somebody left it behind, but at any rate I picked it up. It's a nice solid casting in cast iron. It's solid. By solid I mean actually cast solid. It's not a hollow cast. It has essentially a quill or a spindle bore. I'm sorry, I will show it to you like this. As you can see, when I squeeze the levers, one of the levers can move in this one, and contacting via a ball, you should be able to see the ball over there from what I can see, and yeah, it forces against this plate when you, well, it transmits the force from the levers, or from this lever, into this plate, and it pushes the whole, well, it's not really a quill because it moves, what, 2 millimeters inwards. I've got no idea what this was really used for, but I will clean it off, take it apart, and make sure that the bearings are in a decent condition. They feel to be in quite a good condition. I feel absolutely no crunchiness, no chunkiness, no resistance whatsoever. So the state of the bearings appears to be a-okay. The base sustained a bit of a hit at some point, not done by me, and that will have to be stoned out. Oh, here it is. Some imbecile smashed it over here with something. Looks like it fell on the concrete, or rather was deposited quite roughly on this corner, so I'll have to stone this section beneath down to flatten it fully again, and probably hone this edge just a bit to undo the scratch marks and damage induced to the corner, to refine the site. And yeah, we'll see what I'll do with this in time. I've got no idea. what this will become a part of, but it's a lovely little casting, and it's a lovely little machine component that I have a few ideas for. Let's put it that way. This could even be a really cool lathe tool post grinder, although for a big lathe, because this is a huge chunk. You won't be fitting this on a small lathe. Hell, it practically weighs as much as a mini lathe. It's somewhere around 40 kilos, so... However, it is a most interesting design. I believe that this, which serves as a reference for the collet, is also an insert, and I believe that this is a Morse spindle, if I recognize my Morse spindles right. And just as the Fortuna grinding head, or rather the indexing head that you cannot see, that I have just over there. You have probably seen it during the weld up of this stand itself. But yeah, at any rate, I'll slowly take this apart and take you on a ride with me. This over here has a small collet, as you can see, if I can trust my eyes that much, despite all the junk and crap over here. On the other side, it appears to have a... Can you see it? No, you cannot see it. There you go. You can see it now. That's better. It has a taper over here, which has an imbus Allen key. It, I assume, allows you to release the collet. Let's loosen this. It's the most interesting contraption. There we go. The collet is out at least. Can you see it? It's a mini collet. I've got no idea. Also in the Bridgeport style, with a draw thread in the rear. Let's see if this decides to come out. Okay, lovely. It came out nice. I'm sure that this piece that is protruding over here is actually a insert. It is also fully threaded from over here, from this side. Can you even see what I'm showing you? What I'm trying to show you? It's fully threaded from over here. You can even see the thread, I suppose. Can you? Yeah, you should be able to. There we go. There we go. Oh, magnetized. Interesting. Let me just get the belt off. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'll have to extract it with a pulley. This feels like aluminum, and this feels like a belt. It's mostly turns to plastic from what I can feel through the glove, but yeah, the key, I hope this is just a paint crack. Okay, it is good, good, good. This really should have had some thick, wide washers. Whichever moron put these. Should be whipped. It's a cute little motor. I have to clean this area out. Good, okay. No damage has been caused to the cast-in portion over here. Okay, with that done, we can attend to which one is the solid? This one. This thing is coming apart really nicely. I haven't greased anything or sprayed anything down with penetrating oil, as you can see. I have taken it home from the scrapyard a few days ago, and I just, well, I covered it with hydraulic oil, thin hydraulic oil from the automotive suspension struts, but other than that, which is actually a penetrating oil, I haven't done much to facilitate this easy of a disassembly. Okay. Oh, those are roll pins in there. Quite adorable. Okay, I ain't gonna get everything in the frame at once, it seems, no matter how much I try. So, we'll have to see how things turn out. I've got no idea why this has 4 drilled holes in a bolt pattern. Are they threaded? They do not appear to be threaded. Then I assume this is a nut of sorts, a labyrinth seal maybe. And it does look like it, but give me a second. I want to just touch the places that I revealed with some hydraulic oil, purely to start lifting the junk and retouch some places that I might have already touched or might not have touched because the belt was on this pulley over here and I didn't want to get the belt oily. I shouldn't be oiling these sections which I'll have to paint over, but it's a bit too late now for that consideration. Now that I've gone and done it, I'll see if the oil creeps between the pulley and this section. Oh, I'm sorry. I went to grab a bite or two. I was starving. If anything, the hydraulic oil had time enough to lift some of the junk out of the pores of the paint and the material itself. Nice. It's amazing how effective oils can be at cleaning things. Even the oils without additives and detergent packs. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to remove the major junk. As I said, it's quite hefty. I guess I could use something like a kitchen rag at this moment. I will plop this whole thing into evaporust at a later stage. I'll get some more oil on the rag. You could consider the kitchen rag to be slightly abrasive, but after being used in the kitchen for a month and scrubbing all the other things, it really doesn't pose any real abrasive potential, at least of wearing down the precision surfaces. Of course you can damage them, especially if we are talking about instrument grade precision, but just for dealing with a casting like this, which will have to be taken apart fully and stoned and honed in certain places and retouched in others, there is little harm that can come from it. Now I've got no idea how to take this further apart. I really have got no idea. I assume that this thing has to be wound off before I can potentially access some retaining nuts in there, but we'll see. I was instantly smitten by this casting when I saw it. I learned my lesson in not paying in advance for the items. Well, I actually developed a relationship with a scrapyard owner to the point where he allows me to just take things after I put a deposit on them rather than leaving them exposed to the elements, because he can be sure that just as the sun will set and rise again, that I will come and pay my dues because I want to see if there is anything new that arrived since the last time I was there. I'm also aware that the rust that I pick up from from everywhere is adding to the potential abrasive risk with the sponge, but as said, I'll have to refinish this whole piece again in the first place before it actually gets put anywhere on any of my machines, so some faint scraping for precision and then stone honing it for even higher levels of contact are all gonna be done before this piece ever gets put in use. What a fucking moron. How can you toss a piece like this and let it fall? Look at this. 2 major dents. I mean minor, but major enough. This is not a stone. But it is an extremely fine, dull file that Yeah, good. Not optimal, but they're still over half a millimeter, just from what I can feel, but I think I'll do the rest with a smaller file that doesn't risk skating. Okay, time for a wipe down, and maybe I could oil these fasteners and the key over here, although I'll most likely be replacing the fasteners. Good. All the threads are well soaked within the spindle. There we go. As much oil as, well, more than was necessary. Oh, I finally displaced the ball. Cute mechanism. Quite cute indeed. Okay, at least it isn't shredding the paper off when I pass over it. Oh, fuck. Fuck. This whole shelving panel isn't even supported in any way other than just by sitting against the frame in the middle, so it is somewhat unwise to be inconsiderate of its potential to fall off or between the frame, at least while it carries a nice casting such as this, which could suffer damage from the fall. I'm sorry, I'm always wiping the side that you're not facing. I guess that I'll wipe the other end now. That's right. Turning this by hand, no. It ain't budging. I'll just tear my glove apart. It's a beautiful little casting. I really fell in love when I first saw it. I instantly hunted the owner of the scrapyard down and asked the asking price, leaving the deposit in his hand. The next second, I should actually make a custom mechanism for, wrench for opening this. Anything else is plain idiocy. I risk damaging this lovely cover plate, or however you want to call it. I believe that it's a labyrinth seal, as I said. But to which side does it turn? Or does it even turn? I don't see why it shouldn't, given the unwalking bolt pattern over here, but hard to say, really. Hard to say with absolute certainty. Yeah, the bearings feel really nice when I pull or thrust the spindle inwards or towards me. I feel absolutely nothing in the bearings other than perfect smoothness. I think I'll even return these some of these bits where they belong. Let me just give this a short once over. I'll blast in some of the white lithium grease just for kicks. All my other high quality greases in the machine shop. Yeah, this will do. I want everything to be protected from rust. That's the most important aspect. All the other things are second at best. My bad, the camera died. Wait, let me just get some additional light on. As you can see, I just blasted everything with lithium grease and wiped the grease on by hand onto every surface. I believe that this piece that is protruding from here, you cannot really see it protruding from all the grease that has collected in the corner, but it looks to be a insert, as I said, of sorts. I'll just have to find a way, if it is an insert, how to take it apart, or rather how to take it out. I said the camera died before I finished greasing this up, and for now this will definitely do it. I've had it for today. This is the plan for the wrench, for the key, however you want to call it. It is just roughly sketched. Sorry, let me just anchor my hand a bit. Much better. So it'll be a ring with, as you can see, side walls that will have a 1/100 of a millimeter fit clearance for the inside, or rather for the, well, for this piece. It's gonna sit nicely over the edges to gain positive registry. I will bore out clearance for the spindle protrusion. Of course, the drawbar will be removed. The bore itself will in turn allow me to fit a hex head bolt modified on a lathe, reduced down to just a short shoulder that will retain it squarely in the body and centrally, with 6 or however many small bolts I will get to retain the head and allow it to drive this piece. That will in turn allow me to use the 30 wrench over here, or rather the socket, in tandem with the breaker bar to drive this really nicely without the possibility of bending the pins or whatever. I'll do a once over, a check of these dimensions as well before I engage the project, because I do not feel like wasting material and my time. I believe that 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters of outer diameter is more than enough for this. This piece being around 8 centimeters or 80 millimeters itself. Just multiply by 40 if you want it in thousandths of an inch, or divide the number of centimeters by 2.54 and you get it in inches. But at any rate, I'm sorry, I'm moving my hand because I have smashed my elbow and it is unpleasant to rest my hand against it. But yeah, I'll make something like this. I guess one could call it a side project. That said, I'll stop rambling. You have seen the design. I'll get back to you when I do. it is Sunday, so I cannot go to the scrapyard. I'll most likely go tomorrow, snag a bit of round stock, drill a hole in it. So yeah, that said, see ya.